Have you ever dreamed of stepping onto your balcony, brushing your hand through glossy green leaves, and picking a sun-bright lemon right from your own tree? Imagine the fresh citrus scent in the air and the golden fruit glistening in sunlight, all grown by you even without a backyard. Here's the truth. You can grow a thriving lemon tree loaded with fruit right in a container. You don't need a big garden, just the right know-how. In this video, I'll share 6 powerful tricks gardeners use to turn small potted lemon trees into heavy fruit producers. Whether you grow on a balcony, patio, or by a sunny window, these tips will help you get bigger harvests, faster growth, and stronger, healthier lemon trees all year long. Let's dive in. 1. Choose the right variety. Not all lemons are created equal. If you've ever tried growing a lemon tree in a pot and failed, don't worry, you're not alone. The number one mistake people make? Choosing the wrong variety. Most traditional lemon trees are bred for open gardens, where they can stretch their roots deep and grow 15-20 feet tall. But when you confine them to a pot, they quickly become root-bound, stressed, and unproductive. The secret to massive success in containers is starting with a compact, grafted, high-yielding variety that's designed to thrive in smaller spaces. Here are the top container lemon varieties that experienced gardeners swear by. Improved Meyer lemon, the superstar of potted citrus. It's naturally small, rarely grows above 5 to 6 feet, self-pollinating, and produces fruit almost year-round. The lemons are slightly sweeter and less acidic than store-bought ones, perfect for cooking or fresh lemonade. Ponderosa lemon. Known for its giant fruits and glossy leaves, this variety adds an exotic touch to patios. The lemons can grow nearly the size of grapefruits and have thick, aromatic rinds. Eureka dwarf lemon. This is the classic tangy lemon flavor you know from the grocery store, but in a smaller, compact tree. It fruits heavily in warm weather and looks beautiful in sunny courtyards or balconies. Lisbon dwarf lemon, similar to Eureka but even tougher in wind and heat. It's ideal if you live in a hot climate or plan to keep your lemon outdoors most of the year. Pro tip: when buying your tree, always choose a grafted plant from a trusted nursery. Grafted trees are already mature enough to flower and bear fruit within 1 to 2 years. Seed-grown lemons, on the other hand, can take up to 7 years or more before they produce a single fruit. And sometimes the fruit isn't true to the parent variety. Bonus tip: if you're growing indoors, improved Meyer lemon is your best bet. It tolerates lower light better than other types and keeps producing delicious, fragrant lemons all year long, even on a sunny windowsill. Remember, the right genetics are your foundation. Start smart, and your little lemon tree will reward you with armloads of golden fruit for years to come. 2. Pick the perfect container. Bigger isn't always better. Here's another myth that ruins many container-grown lemon trees. The bigger the pot, the better. Sounds logical, right? More room for roots should mean a healthier tree. But in reality, going too big too soon can do more harm than good. Here's why. When you plant a young lemon tree in a pot that's too large, there's a big volume of unused soil that stays wet for too long. This creates a cold, soggy environment around the roots, and citrus roots absolutely hate sitting in wet soil. The result? Yellowing leaves, poor growth, and eventually root rot. Instead, start small and step up gradually. Begin with a pot that's about 16 to 20 inches deep and equally wide. This size provides enough room for the roots to grow without waterlogging the soil. Then, every 2 to 3 years, repot into something just a few inches larger. This helps the tree develop a dense, healthy root ball that can support heavy fruiting. Now, let's talk about materials. Terracotta or clay pots. The best choice for beginners. These breathe, letting moisture escape through the sides and keeping the soil aerated. They also give stability to the tree, which is helpful once lemons start weighing down the branches. Plastic pots. Lightweight and portable, great if you need to move your tree frequently. However, they retain water longer, so you'll need to adjust your watering schedule. Fabric grow bags. A modern option that promotes air pruning of roots, preventing root circling and improving overall plant health. These are fantastic for growers who repot often. Drainage is non-negotiable. Make sure your container has at least 4 or 6 large drainage holes at the bottom. If not, drill more. Lemon trees despise wet feet. To keep things easy, set your pot on a rolling plant stand or trolley. Lemons are sun worshippers. They crave 8 to 10 hours of direct light daily, and having wheels means you can chase the sunlight or roll it indoors during chilly nights. Pro tip: line the bottom of the pot with a thin layer of coarse gravel or broken terracotta shards. This improves drainage and prevents compacted soil from clogging the holes. If you plan to overwinter your lemon tree indoors, consider using a decorative pot sleeve, one that fits your main pot inside. This allows you to keep things looking beautiful while maintaining functionality. And remember, lemons don't like sudden changes. When you repot, keep as much of the original soil around the root ball as possible and water thoroughly afterward to help the roots settle. Bottom line, the container you choose is your lemon tree's universe. Make it breathable, well-drained, and sun-friendly, and you'll give your tree the ideal home to flourish and bear fruit like crazy. 3. Master the soil mix, the secret to explosive growth. If you want your lemon tree to grow like crazy and produce buckets of fruit, you have to start from the ground up, literally. Soil isn't just dirt. It's a living, breathing foundation that determines how healthy, productive, and long-lived your lemon tree will be. In a pot, it's even more important, because unlike a tree growing in the ground, your container lemon can't reach deep for nutrients or moisture. Everything it needs comes from that small volume of soil you provide. That's why getting the mix right is absolutely critical. The wrong soil can suffocate roots, hold too much moisture, and lead to yellow leaves or even root rot. But the right soil? It will fuel explosive growth, constant flowering, and fruit that tastes like sunshine. So let's create the perfect soil mix, one that mimics what lemon trees love in their native Mediterranean habitat. Loose, slightly acidic, rich in organic matter, and full of air and life. The perfect homemade potting mix. Here's a mix that expert citrus growers swear by: 40% high-quality potting soil. This gives structure and retains just the right amount of moisture. Avoid heavy garden soil or anything labeled as topsoil. You want a mix meant for containers. 30% cocoa coir or peat moss. These ingredients help retain moisture without becoming soggy. Cocoa coir is excellent because it's sustainable, holds water evenly, and improves soil texture. Peat moss is slightly acidic, which lemons love. 20% perlite or coarse sand. This is your drainage magic. It keeps the mix airy and prevents compacting. Without it, your roots can drown or rot. 10% compost or well-rotted manure. This brings in slow-release nutrients and beneficial microorganisms. Compost keeps the soil alive and provides trace elements that fertilizers alone can't. Mix these ingredients thoroughly in a large tub or wheelbarrow before filling your container. You should end up with a light, crumbly soil that drains quickly when watered. That's the texture lemons adore. If you squeeze a handful of your mix, it should hold together lightly but crumble apart when released. That balance between moisture and air is the secret to strong, healthy roots. Lemon trees are acid lovers, and they thrive in soil with a pH between 5.5 and 6.5. This slightly acidic environment allows them to absorb all the nutrients they need. If your soil is too alkaline, pH above 7, your tree will struggle to take in iron and other micronutrients, leading to yellow leaves and slow growth. You can check your soil's pH easily with a simple pH meter or inexpensive test kit. If the pH is too high, mix in peat moss, coffee grounds, or elemental sulfur to lower it gradually. If it's too low, sprinkle a small amount of garden lime to raise it. Maintaining that balance makes a massive difference. The right pH supercharges nutrient absorption and helps your lemon grow more vigorously, bloom more often, and produce richer, juicier fruits. Here's a golden rule: lemon trees hate soggy roots. The #1 killer of potted citrus is poor drainage. Even if your soil mix is perfect, water needs an escape route. Always choose a pot with multiple large drainage holes at the bottom. Before filling it, add a thin layer of gravel, pumice, or broken terracotta to keep the holes clear and promote airflow. This small step prevents water from pooling and ensures oxygen reaches the roots. A well-drained pot keeps your soil oxygenated, your roots healthy, and your lemon tree happy. Boosting life in the soil. To take your mix to the next level, sprinkle in some mycorrhizal fungi when planting. These beneficial fungi attach to the roots and help the plant absorb water and nutrients more efficiently. You can also add a handful of worm castings. They're packed with beneficial bacteria, enzymes, and nutrients that build soil structure and immunity. This living soil ecosystem will make your lemon more resilient to stress, drought, and disease. And you'll see the results in faster growth, shinier leaves, and stronger flowering. A quick pro tip: every few months, fluff the top layer of soil gently with your fingers or a hand rake. This prevents compaction and keeps oxygen flowing to the roots. Compacted soil suffocates your lemon and slows its growth dramatically. When your soil is right, everything else, water, light, fertilizer, works better. You'll notice more leaves, healthier roots, and fruit that develops faster and tastes richer. That's the power of a perfect soil mix. 4. Feed like a pro. The power of the right fertilizer. Once your lemon tree has the perfect soil, it's time to talk about food. And make no mistake, lemon trees are hungry. These are some of the heaviest feeders in the plant world. They're always doing something, growing new leaves, forming buds, developing fruit. And that constant activity takes energy. In the ground, lemon trees spread their roots wide to find nutrients naturally. But in a container, your tree depends entirely on you. If you don't feed it regularly and properly, it won't have the strength to bloom or produce fruit, no matter how much sunlight or water it gets. The best fertilizer for container lemons. For container-grown lemons, use a citrus-specific fertilizer or a balanced formula with slightly higher nitrogen content. Something like 5-3-3 or 6-4-6 NPK. Each nutrient serves a purpose. Nitrogen fuels leaf and stem growth, that lush, deep green canopy that powers photosynthesis. Phosphorus supports strong root systems and flower formation. Potassium enhances fruit size, flavor, and overall plant health. Citrus fertilizers also contain crucial micronutrients like magnesium, iron, manganese, and zinc. Without these, you'll start seeing pale or yellow leaves, poor growth, or small, flavorless fruit. How and when to feed. Timing is everything. Start feeding your lemon tree in early spring. Just as new, growth begins. Continue every 3 to 4 weeks through summer, when it's actively growing and fruiting. In autumn, reduce feeding to every 6 to 8 weeks, and stop completely in winter if your tree goes dormant indoors. When applying fertilizer, always water your tree first to prevent root burn. Then feed evenly around the drip line, the outer edge of the canopy, where the feeder roots are most active. For organic gardeners, a rotation of fish emulsion, seaweed extract, and compost tea works wonders. These provide a steady flow of nutrients and improve soil life over time. Micronutrient magic. Here's a secret most gardeners overlook. Micronutrients are the key to deep green, glossy leaves and non-stop blooming. If you notice yellow leaves with green veins, your lemon tree might be iron deficient. Add a dose of chelated iron or foliar spray designed for citrus. Pale leaves with no shine often indicate magnesium deficiency. Fix that by mixing 1 tablespoon of Epsom salt in a gallon of water and pouring it around the base once a month. This simple trick can transform your tree almost overnight. The leaves will turn rich green, the flowers will multiply, and the overall vigor will skyrocket. The art of foliar feeding. For an instant boost, try foliar feeding, spraying diluted liquid fertilizer directly on the leaves. Lemon leaves can absorb nutrients through their pores, and this method delivers results fast. It's especially useful during hot, dry weather when roots may struggle to take up nutrients from the soil. Spray in the early morning or evening to prevent leaf burn, and focus on both sides of the leaves. You'll be amazed at how quickly your tree perks up. The feed and flush method. Every few months, it's important to flush your soil. Water the pot deeply until excess drains out the bottom. This washes away built-up fertilizer salts that can accumulate over time and harm roots. After flushing, wait a few days, then resume feeding. Pro tips for feeding success. Feed little and often, not a huge amount at once. Consistent nourishment mimics nature and keeps growth steady. Never fertilize a stressed or bone-dry tree. Always water first. During flowering and fruiting, add an extra boost of potassium to enhance fruit sweetness and juiciness. When you feed your lemon tree the right way, you'll be rewarded with lush, dark green foliage, a heady fragrance of flowers, and baskets of golden lemons that taste like sunshine. 5. Sunlight, temperature, and water, the holy trinity of citrus care. When it comes to growing lemons in containers, sunlight, warmth, and water form the sacred trinity of citrus success. You can have perfect soil and the best fertilizer in the world, but if your lemon tree doesn't get enough sun, warmth, or the right watering routine, it simply won't thrive. Master these three and you'll unlock explosive growth, endless blooms, and a steady harvest of golden lemons that fill the air with their fragrance. The power of sunlight. Lemon trees are true sun worshippers. They evolved under bright Mediterranean skies, soaking up rays all day long. To mimic that in a container setting, you should aim for 8 to 10 hours of direct sunlight daily. The more light your lemon gets, the more energy it can produce through photosynthesis. And the more energy it has, the more it will flower, fruit, and grow. If you're growing outdoors, position your pot in the brightest, sunniest location available, preferably facing south or southwest. Avoid shady corners or spots blocked by fences or taller plants. Even a few hours of shade can slow down growth or cause leaves to yellow. If you live in a cooler or cloudier climate, don't worry. You can still grow vibrant lemons. Simply use a high-quality full-spectrum grow light indoors. Place the light about 12-18 inches above the top of the plant and run it for 10 to 12 hours daily during the darker months. Many gardeners find that their indoor lemon trees grow just as well, sometimes even better, under consistent artificial light. When growing indoors, also remember to rotate your tree every week so that all sides receive equal light exposure. This prevents uneven growth and helps maintain a balanced shape. A simple rule to remember: the more sunlight, the more lemons. Perfect temperature for perfect lemons. Lemon trees are tropical and subtropical plants, meaning they love warmth and gentle humidity. The ideal temperature range is 65 degrees to 85 degrees, 18 degrees to 29 degrees during the day, and not below 55 degrees, 13 degrees at night. Temperatures below 50 degrees, 10 degrees, start to stress the tree, and prolonged exposure below freezing, 30 degrees or 0 degrees, can cause leaf drop, fruit loss, and even death. If you're growing in a region with cold winters, treat your lemon like a seasonal traveler. Move it outdoors in spring and summer, then bring it indoors before the first frost. If you can't move it inside easily, cover it on cold nights with frost cloth, burlap, or even an old bedsheet. Make sure to secure the fabric around the pot so it traps warm air. You can also wrap the container itself with insulation material or place it on a wheeled stand to move it quickly if needed. Lemon trees are surprisingly adaptable. They can handle brief dips in temperature, but consistent cold stress weakens their immune system and slows fruiting. On the flip side, extremely hot conditions above 35 degrees C can cause blossoms to drop prematurely. If you're facing heat waves, provide partial shade during peak afternoon hours and water more frequently. Humidity also plays a role. Indoor air, especially with heating or air conditioning, can get very dry, which causes leaf tips to brown and flowers to fall off. To fix this, mist your lemon's leaves regularly, use a humidity tray filled with pebbles and water, or run a small humidifier nearby. Your lemon tree will thank you with lush, glossy leaves and steady blooms. Water, the line between life and death. Watering is where most citrus growers make their biggest mistake. Too much water and you'll drown your tree's roots. Too little and the leaves will wilt and drop. The secret is consistency, keeping the soil evenly moist but never soggy. Lemons prefer soil that dries slightly between waterings. Always check the top 2 inches, 5 centimeters of soil before you water. Stick your finger in. If it feels dry, it's time to water. If it's still damp, wait another day or two. When you do water, water deeply. Pour slowly until it runs out of the drainage holes at the bottom of the pot. This ensures that moisture reaches the deepest roots and flushes out excess salts from fertilizer. Then, let the soil dry again before the next watering cycle. It's better to water less frequently but deeply than to give small sips every day. Deep watering encourages roots to grow downward, creating a stronger, more drought-tolerant plant. Pro watering tips: use rainwater or filtered water whenever possible. Tap water often contains chlorine, fluoride, or salts that can build up over time and cause leaf burn or root stress. Avoid saucers filled with standing water. Always empty them after watering to prevent root rot. Reduce watering in winter. When light and temperatures drop, your lemon tree's growth slows, meaning it needs less moisture. Overwatering during this period is a common cause of death for indoor citrus. Increase humidity indoors. As mentioned, dry air can stress your tree. Misting, grouping plants together, or placing a humidifier nearby can dramatically improve leaf health. When you master this holy trinity, sunlight, temperature, and water, your lemon tree becomes unstoppable. You'll notice shiny green leaves, frequent flowers, and fruits that ripen faster and taste sweeter. It's the foundation of every thriving citrus plant. 6. Pruning, pollination, and flower power. Now that your lemon tree is growing strong, it's time to guide its energy in the right direction, toward maximum flowering and heavy fruiting. That's where pruning and pollination come in. These two techniques are often underestimated, but together they can double or even triple your lemon yield. Why pruning matters. Pruning isn't about cutting your lemon tree down, and it's about shaping it to grow better, stronger, and more productive. Think of it as training your tree to focus its energy on producing fruit rather than wasting it on unnecessary branches. In early spring, just before the new growth begins, inspect your tree carefully. Start by removing any dead, damaged, or diseased branches. Then thin out the center of the canopy to improve airflow and light penetration. This helps prevent fungal problems and allows more sunlight to reach inner leaves, boosting overall photosynthesis. Next, trim back leggy or overly long branches to encourage side shoots. These new side branches are where your lemon tree will produce most of its flowers and fruit. Each pruning cut signals the plant to push out new growth, creating a fuller, bushier shape. If your tree is still young, under 2 years old, don't let it fruit heavily yet. Pinch off the first round of flowers to let the plant focus on developing a strong root system and sturdy framework. It might feel painful to remove those first buds, but trust the process. Your future harvest will be much larger and healthier. The art of pollination. Here's a fact most beginner growers don't know. Even though most lemon trees, like the popular Meyer variety, are self-pollinating, they still need pollen movement between flowers to set fruit effectively. Outdoors, bees and insects handle this naturally. But indoors or on balconies, you'll need to play the role of the bee yourself. Grab a small paintbrush, cotton swab, or even a soft makeup brush. Once your lemon tree starts blooming, gently touch the center of one flower, where the yellow pollen is, and transfer it to another flower's stigma, the sticky center part. Repeat this process with as many flowers as possible. Do this every day during the blooming period, especially in the morning when flowers are fresh and open. It takes only a few minutes, but it can increase fruit set dramatically. You'll know you've succeeded when flowers begin to fade and tiny green baby lemons appear in their place. Managing fruit load. Once those little green lemons start forming, your tree might try to grow too many at once, which can actually weaken it. Each lemon takes a lot of energy and nutrients to grow, and if the tree spreads itself too thin, the fruits will stay small and flavorless. The solution? Thin out the fruit. When each lemon reaches about marble size, remove some of them, leaving one healthy fruit every few inches of branch. It may feel counterintuitive, but this allows the remaining lemons to grow larger, juicier, and more flavorful. Flower power boosters. To encourage heavy blooming, make sure your lemon gets a little stress. Yes, a bit of controlled hardship helps trigger more flowers. Try these techniques. Allow the soil to dry slightly more between waterings for a week or two. Give your lemon a dose of high phosphorus fertilizer before spring bloom. Ensure it gets plenty of sunlight and avoid excessive nitrogen late in the season. Too much leaf growth can reduce flowering. Another secret weapon is bloom-boosting teas made from banana peels or compost tea, rich in potassium and trace minerals that help promote flower development. Pro pruning and pollination tips. Use sharp, sterilized pruning shears to prevent infections. Always cut just above a leaf node or bud. That's where new growth will emerge. Keep your tree's overall shape open and airy, like an upside-down umbrella. If branches grow inward toward the trunk, remove them. After heavy pruning, feed your lemon with a balanced fertilizer to support recovery. Pruning gives your tree structure and strength. Pollination brings the blossoms to life. Together, they unlock the secret to bigger harvests, stronger branches, and sweeter fruit. Your lemon tree will not only look more beautiful, but it will perform better too, rewarding you year after year with baskets of sun-kissed lemons.